How'd you end up starting your business, dude?
Well, let's see, man. With me, dude, I've always well, let's see, what really made me start doing it? Well, let's see. If I was to get down to the basic truth of it, dude, I started doing it, um, I guess just based off of like a negative mentality at the time. I had just got out of jail and I I'm
Mhm.
a I'm a fucking felon, dude, and I got fucking strike and all kinds of shit, right? So like for a while, dude, I couldn't get a job, man. I couldn't get a good job. Like I could always get a
Right.
job, but I couldn't get a good job, you know what I mean? And fucking I started working for the union doing flooring.
Uh huh.
And I started going through all that and I started getting in with some good companies, but a lot of these good companies that do big jobs, they do a lot of governmental jobs. In order for you to do the governmental jobs, even through the union,
You
they
can't
do
be a
background
civilian.
checks. Yeah, and shit, you know what I mean? So I just was always getting passed up for man, and I always got the fucking shitty shit. And I had always, I picked up doing yard work at first just because I'm not like one of those people, bro, that like make mistakes and let those mistakes hinder me for the rest of my life. I'm not one of those types of people that are like, oh, I'm a felon or I'm this or I'm that, so I can't do
Oh
good
yeah.
in my life. I'm one of those people, bro. I've realized that I've made mistakes and I have to pay for those mistakes and I have to come back from those mistakes. Either that or you become the statistic like everybody else, right? So when I first got out of jail, I couldn't really land anything. I just started doing yard work to like really it just started off as extra money. So like the jobs that I was getting, it wasn't really paying enough. So I would just pick up my own kind of work at first just to get extra money.
Mhm.
So when I first got out of jail, it's when I first really started dating my wife. Like I had dated her before I went in, but when I got out is when it really really got serious. She ended up getting pregnant, had my
So you
son.
were just doing it as like part time, right? Like side work.
At first I was just doing it part time, man. I was just doing it like whenever I could get a chance, like weekends. I'd work every Saturday, and
Uh huh.
if I got off early that day to go hit one or two, I'd go do it just
So
for extra money,
how?
dude. But
So I don't mean to like interrupt you type thing, but how'd you find those jobs type thing? Like were you just hitting up people, just searching around?
no, here's how that all played out, man.
Uh huh.
Yeah, I wanted to give you a process because I believe that even now at the stage that I'm at right now, I still haven't completely successfully formulated the perfect formula for success, but what I have learned throughout the years that I've been doing this already is persistence, hard work, and dedication will keep you in the game, dude. So discipline is everything. And on the days that you don't want to do it is when you have to do it the most. But anyways, when I was in the union, dude, the last day I stopped work, this is when it got serious, man. So I was still doing yards here and there. I was kind of bouncing between the thought of like, hey, I need a good job, or hey, do I want to put full time into chasing a dream?
Mhm.
So I was getting sent out to fucking I think it was uh fuck dude, it's fucking far, dude. It was like 5 hours away from my house. They were sending me for jobs and shit, right? And it was like stupid jobs, dude. And I remember the last day that I was trying to come home, dude. I was putting in like it would always take me 3 to 5 hours every morning to get to work. So I'd have to leave my house at like 3 o'clock in the morning to go all the way out towards LA. Fucking Dude, just to be at the job on time, like 6:30, bro. I was leaving my house stupid fucking early, bro.
And this is
The
for the
last job,
landscaping job or for the union job? For the floor
no, this
job?
is for the union. This is for the union
Okay.
job. But this story is important because this is what really set me off on the full mentality of just going after it.
Okay.
Because when the last job I did for the union, I was going far, dude. It was taking me like 4 hours to get there, 5, 6 hours to get home every day. And that was after working for like 12 hours, right? So
Mhm.
the last day that I said, fuck that shit, I was coming, I think I was in Palmdale. I'm not really sure. It might have been even a little further, but I was coming home from work that day, dude, and I was hurting so bad on cash because the way the unions were doing us that uh, I broke down twice trying to get home, running out of gas because I was driving a truck at the time, dude, and I was fucking every dollar I had was strategic, man. So I had broke down twice in one day trying to get home, dude. And the second time I fucking broke down, bro. And I was like, you know what? I was like, I'm putting so much into this for nothing. I was
Mhm.
like, I'm always away from my family. I don't got no fucking. It just wasn't worth it, dude. So I was like, you know what? I got this little business that I'm doing. I had a few yards accumulated just from getting out there and like just finding work. So when I first started doing my own company, the way I got started was is I found a couple of yards with a couple of families that needed help. And what I did was is I donated a little bit of my time to cleaning up these yards. And what
Okay.
I did was is after I got done doing it, I tagged them in all the social medias that they had and everything that I had, and I just had them reference anybody that asked them questions, anybody that liked the post, all that shit. And I just started generating a few clients. Well, once I got done with the union, I was like, my wife was like, you know what, I think you should just really focus on trying to build your own company because you really want to do it and you'll be home. We can do our own hours. We can set our own schedules, da 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 da.
Mhm.
I was like, all right, dude. So I start getting into it, bro. That first year, now I won't even say the first year, the first year or two, I fucking quit. And
Mhm.
then I started working for this other little job. And then that was cool for a little bit, and then I kept feeling something telling me like, man, why'd you quit? You need to keep going through with this shit.
Uh-huh.
So I ended up going back to doing it, right? And then I went and did this old guy's yard one day, bro. This is what set it off, bro.
Mhm.
This guy hits me up and he's like, hey, man, I was referred by a friend of mine. They told me you do awesome work. Here's my house. I'm about to be moving. I need it ready for pictures because we're going to sell it, da, 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 right?
Oh, okay.
And I was like, all right, dude. So I go over there and I clean this dude's house. And I mean, I fucking
Yeah.
detailed that shit, bro. Detailed it.
Mhm.
By the time I was done, he had already taken all his own pictures of everything we already did, had already tagged a whole bunch of his friends. I mean, it was all over his social media before we even asked them to do it, bro. Hey, that one job alone generated so much clientele from that everything that we've done since then has been mostly referral.
Okay.
Everything, dude. So I started my business. How I got going was, to be honest, was what I mean. There was a process, but if I had to put it all on one word, it had to be integrity. So the way I work, man, is we don't just go in and fucking clean. Like we go in and clean to the detail, fucking to the detail, homie. Like when you see a job of mine, like I
Mhm.
can send you pictures of my work of what I do, bro, and shit. You know what I'm saying? I've had landscapers be like, "Hey man, all I can get somebody to pay me is 25, 50 at the most for a yard. How are you getting these people to pay you 3 or 400?"
Mhm.
And I'm like, "Man, it's just I've been in this shit for a minute already, so I've kind of developed my own science, man. I've developed a science when it comes to bidding and what we do. I've developed my own science when it comes to our routine and how we take care of yards. I've developed a science when it comes down to how we take care of our clients after we've taken care of them. So it's not even just about doing the job. It's about checking up with clients and making sure that they know that you're still concerned on something you've done for them. That helps, dude. It helps. There's a lot of different things that you can do. I listen to a lot of business motivational stuff. I listen to a lot of gurus. I listen to a lot of shit, man. A lot of shit, and I have self-taught myself. Now, I will never go beyond pride and say that, oh, I'm the best and I taught myself. No. But everything that I do know, I have self-taught myself, dude. I mean, I've gotten down to where, I mean, I was running solenoids to a full scale through a yard, hooking up everything as far as sprinkler systems, this and that. People be like, hey, man, what companies did you work for? You know, who taught you how to do this shit? And I'm like, I taught myself, and I never worked for a company. And they're like, what? They're like, dude, you do awesome work. I'm like, man, I've just practiced and practiced and practiced. Everything I do, bro, everything I do, I put everything into it, man. If I'm fishing, I put everything into it.
Yeah.
I've picked up a workout routine. I've been having to kick back a little bit on that because but mostly I'm still fucking eating healthy, bro. I'm still into that. I put everything into it. My business, my jobs, my team, my everything that we do, man, has been built from ground up, homie. From ground up. I started with a shovel and a rake. My wife used to clean houses. How I got my vehicle, how I got this van that runs pretty much my whole operation right now. Dude, literally came from one of the biggest blessings in my life, dude. My girl used to actually clean houses. And there was this old lady that she was cleaning for, and this lady asked my wife, hey, does your husband cleans yards? And she's like, yeah. She was like, hey, I need my back lot cleaned. So I go to her house, I clean it all up. She's like super amazed. So I started doing jobs for this lady around her house on the outside. She had this van sitting in her yard, just van, not even being used. It had really low miles, bro. Been taking care of everything, bro. And I had went up to her one day, and I was like, her name was Miss Rosie, and I was like, hey, Miss Rosie, I was like, I know this is just kind of out of left field a little bit, but I was like, you wouldn't be interested in trading that van for like labor work, would you?
Never
And she
would.
was like, yeah. She's like, I know you need a car. She was like, of course. She was like, if you don't mind me owning you for a little while. And I was like, that's cool. I was like, I'll trade labor for the car. Bro, I've came up on 3 cars like this in my life where I fucking hustled for them. I didn't have $1 for them, bro, and I hustled for that shit. And I took it and I turned it into something bigger and just kept investing in myself. So, like, entrepreneurship, it doesn't matter if you're doing it through a service or through a business or if you're selling something or whatever, dude, but like, if you're not willing to invest in yourself, and I mean really invest in yourself, like where you're losing more than you're gaining at first, then you'll never make it past that borderline, dude. You'll never make it past that borderline. Like, I've learned some hard fucking up on my own. You know what I'm saying? One of the hardest lessons I'm learning now is like, you can't do it on your own. And that's the ironic part. That's the ironic part about starting your business. At first, you're like, you get a dream and you're like, you got goals and you're like, man, it's me. I got to make this shit happen. But what you learn is you start gaining people along the way and they become your team. And the way you and your team feng shui together will ultimately determine how successful you guys will be together. Of course, it's for you. It's your dream, but I mean, you're the brains of the operation, but you still need the body for the brain. You know what I'm saying? And I've been having to learn, like, the hardest lessons I've learned about my business this year is that I'm not alone. You know, I do have a few people that have grinded with me for homie, and they continue to do so. I go through different phases with my life where I take the approach of it as the leader. So I have to explain to them sometimes that my stresses, my thoughts, my worries on what happens is not the same as just showing up to work every day and cleaning. Like, I have to operate this shit. I have to make sure it runs smooth. I have to make sure our customers are running smooth. I have to make sure our promotions are running smooth. I have to make sure our equipments are all running smooth. Like I literally picked up small engine mechanics since I've started this business. I've had to learn how to tear down my weed eaters, my blowers, my hedgers. I've had to learn how to maintenance all these things when I didn't know how to do that shit. But my brain works in a
That's
way
part of the
where it's,
process. That's part of the
yeah, my
process.
brain works like that. It's like, hey, you got to learn this shit or you won't make it.
Right. So here's
Yeah,
this
dude.
one. So like, did you do the whole proper LLC thing? Did you do like business account,
Right
credit?
now, right now. So here it takes me back to what I was just saying. I'm learning that I need people. So it's at first it's been all necessarily, well, I won't say under the table, but we've been keeping record, but not necessarily. Okay, so now I'm adding in a couple more people from my family that knows how to do all that, and they're going to be working that area of my business for me.
Mhm.
So, and their family. So I've sat down with a few of my family members and they know what I do and they know what I'm trying to do. And now they're like, hey, well, we have some knowledge on what you should be doing, how you should be doing it. We're going to help you get to where you need to be so you become more legit.
Yeah.
So instead of like being in that mentality of like, oh, it's me, it's me, it's me, and we got to do it myself, I've had to let go of certain controls so that I can let certain people of my team help me get where we need to be.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what I've been having to learn this last year as a leader in my own business. And that and maintaining like what money's going in and what money's going out. At first, it's really hard, man, because you just get excited that you get business and that you're just rolling like that. So you just go. But then when you start getting a couple years into it and you're like, okay, well, it starts feeling like you're just going every day with no direction, no goal. You have to have the goals. You have to have the direction. The goals and the direction are just milestones to help everybody be like, hey, so they're not bored. Because it becomes a repetition every day if you have no goals and no direction. So when you start dealing with like hiring your own employees and shit, you actually have to start setting these goals and directions so your team has a way to get together and push together. Because
Mhm.
if not, people get bored and people don't want to do their job. Drama starts happening. People get fired for nothing. For nothing. Most of the time, it's for nothing. But then most of the time, it's because most sitting there bored with nothing to do. Anyways, business is slow. They ain't doing shit. Everybody's talking shit. Everybody
Mhm.
thinks the other person's working, but they're really not. You know what I'm saying? It's just one of those things, dude, that comes with the territory. You know what I mean? But I've been having to learn that, I got to kind of keep it together because this year is that's just what I'm learning this year, man. Like, I've mastered quite a few levels of like learning this business on my own without having to go to school. And I think being out there in the trenches and kind of like learning it by going through the grit has taught me a few things that the book won't teach you. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
That's almost what you would call business street smart, business book smart. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? It's yeah, dude, and it's just I don't know. So like now I'm starting to realize like, hey Q, if you want to take it higher, you got to take yourself higher. So it's just levels, man. So you got to realize what comes with the territory, and you got to think to yourself like, how high do I want to take it? How far do I want to push it? I mean, that's what I mean by like directions and goals. If and when you start thinking about your goals, if they don't scare you, if your goals don't, if your goals don't hit your brain, like that's almost impossible, then you're not thinking big enough. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have those real high goals, and then you got to set those small incremental goals to get that direction going towards that bigger goal. You know what I'm saying? So, like right now, I'm trying to upgrade my whole operation to a brand new truck and trailer. So, on top of having to provide for my family, take care and take care of the operation that I've got going on, I have to pay for all those things and still manage to get it in there in a way where we can save to get what we can to upgrade. It's almost like a video game, homie. Like you just
Yeah.
gotta keep saving your chips so you can upgrade. You
Uh-huh.
know what I'm saying? And that's probably the best way I can describe that particular part of it, man. You just gotta like, there's going to be moments where you're riding in a particular chapter of that section and process for a while. You know what I'm saying? But you can't lose sight of like what you're really doing it for because, when I started off doing this, I told myself, I was like, you know what? If I do go full time with this and I give it everything I got and it goes successful, I want to do this so I can put like friends and family that are having hard times because I got a lot of friends and family that can't get jobs. Not because it's weird or any of that shit, because a lot of them are fucking felons or fucking, you know what I'm saying, dude? And they're good people, man. They're good people. They just made mistakes like I did. So I understand that shit. I understand that some people can get to a point and be like, hey, I made some mistakes, but I don't want to live like that no more.
Mm-hmm.
And those people are actually better workers sometimes because they know what it's like to be from the bottom of the barrel and have nothing. You know what I mean? So sometimes you got to take a chance. And I was telling myself, I was like, man, I want to be able to start a company where I can help people like that, like a restart felony friendly type company.
Mm-hmm.
It's a style. It's a place where I can bring you, and all you're doing is pushing a mower or holding a weed eater or what, a rake, a shovel. Like, what is there for you to really steal? You'd be with the crew most of the time. You know what I'm saying? You'd be either cleaning or trimming or something. And it helps guys get more confidence back in themselves. Not necessarily themselves because they feel like unconfident, but when you go to jail and you got felonies and all that shit, it has a tendency of stripping a little bit of your confidence because you just you just start getting fucking shutdowns one after another. Now, like me, I got charges like first degree burglary and shit, bro. Like, wait, look, I'm not the type to lie either. So when I would sit down in interviews and I would put on my applications or my resume, when it would ask the question, any felonies, I would put information available upon request or interview. That's what I would answer like. So when I would get interviewed, people would be like, they'd be like, oh, they'd be like, what does that mean, information available upon request? And I was like, I would tell employers like, look, man, I'm like, what I'm going to tell you is what I'm going to tell you because I don't want to lie to you. But I said, I'm going to tell you who I used to be and the mistakes I've made and who I am now and what I've learned from it and the difference. And I would break it down like that, dude, because they want to know, bro. They want to know. They want to know if you're sitting there being truthful. Because first of all, if you lie on an application and say you're not a felon, but you know you are, and they do go to look you up, you're automatically starting everything off with a lie. That doesn't look very good on you. I don't care what anybody says, dude. It just doesn't.
Dude, I literally had a guy for an interview before. He's like, "How's your?" He's like, "We can do a background check." I'm like, "Yeah, clean." He's like, "Okay, how's your driving record?" I'm like, "Clean, nothing." He's like, "Nothing, like no speeding tickets, nothing." I'm like, "Nothing, bro. Never been pulled over." Like, and they're like questioning that type stuff. Like, why? Like, I don't know, like,
Well, because you got to remember how many guys come in there and lie just to try to
right?
push the charm through. You know what I'm saying? Some guys are charming, dude. Some
Yeah,
guys can come in there and throw you, or even girls come in there and throw you a good game and you believe them. just by the confidence in the way they talk. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Some people you can tell they're fucking liars. You're like, you are. They're like, are you sure? Are you sure? You know what I'm saying? But you know that's the thing, man. When you go in with confidence, even if it's on the wrong side of the table, and you can come at them in a way like, look, man, I'm a grown adult man now. Like I've made mistakes. I've done this. I've done that. I won't lie to you about who I was. People, hey, when they're real, genuine, real men or women, they will resonate with you. They'll be like, hey, I hear the genuineness coming out of his voice. Now I'm gonna have to take a chance with him, or I'm not gonna take a chance with him. But see, when you're sitting there telling employers that your charges are for like first degree burglary and shit, they automatically think you're gonna fucking break into the building and steal everything, dog. It's very hard to get a
Yeah.
fucking job, dude. Very fucking hard to get a job, dude. Very hard. If you were gonna get arrested on any other kind of felonies, I would never suggest it be burglary or any kind of theft charges, because that's almost
It's
in
like
society's eyes. In
it's like
society's eyes,
yeah,
when it comes to hiring somebody, you know what I mean?
it's like robberies and like violent stuff will like really deter people from like getting employed, kind of thing.
Oh yeah, yeah. If they think you're a violent motherfucker, yeah, you definitely ain't getting a job, dude. Because they already know somebody's gonna say something to you that you're not gonna like.
And that could literally be something as simple as like two people getting in like a small fight type thing.
That's
Like,
what I'm saying. And then they gotta worry about it escalating into a felony charge.
uh
Yeah, see, that's the thing, man. And see, and that's what's hard. So what I was saying about this is like, no matter how smart you come in there and you try to talk to them, they're still looking at you like, well, he's a felon with burglary charges. We're not gonna hire this guy. Especially when you got a couple of guys sitting next to you. I've been in the same room with guys with college degrees and shit, and they're like, how'd you get in here? And I was like, man, and I would tell employers, I'm like, man, my life's been real interesting. I've learned a lot of skills. But who I am as a person might make you not see me like that. You know what I'm saying? And there'd be guys in there that are fucking clean cut, never been in trouble, never been pulled over. And they're just same qualifications, everything, dude. I mean, it would only make sense if they go with those guys. I would myself. You know what I'm saying? Now that I'm an employer, you know, if I was sitting in that situation, I couldn't say that I wouldn't want to go with the cleaner guy, because you can just get more out of him. You know what I'm saying? You got a felon. There's only so much you can do with him. He's only really going to be so good for so much. So I took that shit personal. And I was
yeah,
like,
you're
well,
living.
if that's the way the world sees me, I'm gonna show the world that I got more in me than what they say I do.
uh
And I'm gonna fucking build a business for myself. No matter how much hard work I gotta put into it, I'm gonna build it. And dude, I've had days where I've made 5, 6 grand. I've had days where I've made 50, $60.
Right.
You know what I'm saying, dude? It's a fucking grind, homie. And it's definitely, you gotta be willing to. You gotta be willing. You gotta have some kind of grit about you, dude. No matter what kind of entrepreneurship you're doing,
uh
if you don't have the grit and the discipline and the fucking dedication, it's not gonna happen. There are so many different avenues about going and chasing your dream. If one doesn't work, you just try to find another. And that's what I've been doing, dude. I've been going. This is my I want to say my fourth season in a row. Fourth season in a row that we haven't quit. We haven't got another job. We haven't done none of that shit. We just been grinding on this alone, bro.
hmm
And it's been rough. It's been pretty physical on me, because even though I got people that help me, I'm still the leader ox. Like, I'm the fucker, homie. You know what I'm saying? So some days it gets hard, man. It gets physical, you know what I mean? It gets a little tough, but I like that shit, dude. It's fucking life, man. It makes you a monster, homie. You know
hmm
what I'm saying? When you really truly start understanding it like that and you approach the game like that every day, bro, and you start realizing that it's you and you versus no one else, you start approaching it. When I said it was personal, I meant with myself. Like I've been neglecting my whole life for so long, I owe it to myself now. I owe it to myself to get up every day and push to be the best that I can. Anything that I touch, I make sure I put gold on that shit, son. So when they're like, hey, Froggy was here and we know that motherfucker was here, we could tell he was here, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's why, like, no matter where I'm at, bro, no matter how I'm hated, no matter how I'm looked at, social media, I can jump in a fucking room right now where 90% of them can hate me, but they'll all still say what up. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying, bro? Because they just know that hey, I'll get on there and the people that I know are talking shit, they'll be like, what up, Froggy? And I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
thinking to myself, like, all right, man. And I'll still show them grace and be like, what up? You know what I'm saying, bro? Because I ain't no fucking hater like that. I want to see everybody win, homie. That's why like I like conversations and stuff like this. I ain't afraid to tell somebody how I think they should go about doing their thing because
You
I
said
know a
something
lot
a
of
minute
accounts.
ago. I forgot my question. I had something good. You said something like 2, 3 minutes ago. I was like, no, spaced on it. But,
Hey, bro, you know what? The best advice I could give to anybody that's like starting their own business, no matter what it is, bro, is like don't just see one way about doing it. Like, and what I mean by that is I feel like the hardest lesson I've had to learn about starting my business is that you will run into so many walls. I mean walls. And what I mean by walls is that you'll run into so many ways that it could work, but it doesn't work. What you have to do is some people look at them situations like, oh, I hit a wall, it didn't work, it's not gonna work for me. Or hey, I hit 10 walls. I thought it would work by now, but it's just not working for me. What happens is motherfuckers get discouraged because their brain only has so many solutions that they can think of,
hmm
right? That's why you got to get out there and communicate with people, talk with people so you can get ideas, get inspirations. You know what I'm saying? So you can think to yourself, like, look, I didn't think of it like that. Maybe I should try it like that. Maybe I should try it like this. Or maybe I should do this while I'm doing just a little bit of this.
I
See,
remember
look,
what it was. I was going to tell you that, not to like compare or anything like that. But a lot of my stuff was like starting my own thing or working for myself. Is I just wanted to. I just didn't want to work for somebody, kind of. I just wanted.
that's
I've
me too.
always wanted to do my own businesses. Always wanted to like manage my own kind of like stuff or like my own company. Like I hate getting up and going and working on someone else's time kind of deal. Like be here this time. Oh, your lunch is at this time. Oh, like oh, it's busy now. You got to do this. Like
Bro, that's
I
that's what makes you that's what makes you an entrepreneur compared to an employee, man. You know what
and
I'm
that
saying?
and that's what I take as like that stuff is like investing in yourself. Like how am I supposed to invest in myself if I'm working for all these other people, kind of thing. You
Well, you know
know,
what? I used to think those same thoughts. I used to think those same thoughts. I used to be like, well, maybe I can work a job and I'll do this on the side, but it doesn't work like that. You know what, man? I listen to a lot of like motivational stuff. Even when I'm fishing, some of the best shit that I actually listen to in my daily life is fishing motivational videos. There's this one video out there by Brandon Polinak, bro, and he was taught, and it wasn't even a motivational video. It was he was on stage giving a speech for winning Angler of the Year, and I think it was 2012 or some shit. And he won Angler of the Year like back to back, like 3 years or some shit. And he was on stage giving a speech, and he was saying, he was like, "Yeah, I remember my mom used to tell me, hey son, you need a plan B just in case plan A doesn't work, because sometimes plan A doesn't work. And he said he looked at his mom and he said, hey mom, I don't need a plan B because I won't quit until plan A works. So
Yeah, what's
basically
that
what he
one?
was,
I heard another one too, where it's like if you have a plan B, like you're already set up for failure, kind of shit.
and yeah, exactly. So here's the mind state on that. Here's the mind state on that.
Uh-huh.
The hard times that develop what you need to actually run the business, no matter what it is,
Uh-huh.
are sometimes suppressed by plan B. So
Right.
when you get to, that's what I meant by getting to the walls. Some people get to a wall and they're like, oh man, I don't know what to do. This is it. This is fucking it. I don't know what to do. This is it. This is it.
Uh-huh.
And what they do is they're like, you know what? I'll just go get that. I'll just go get that job that C's told me he can get me. I'll just go work over there for a little bit. I'll see how that works out. What happens is the job becomes a good job because every job's still good, and you get comfortable. You forget what you were chasing, and all the momentum that you did have is lost like that. So what means is you have to start over. Every time you fucking quit, if you're even given the opportunity again to even try, will be harder to get up the second time than it was the first time. Even though, even though you go into it with more knowledge, you're still trying to come into it with like a defeated with a defeated spirit. And I'm not saying that it stays with you. It just gets hard to get the momentum back on the ball. So this is what I mean by that. Like when you get to hard times, and you get to those moments where you're like, man, I need to find something that makes this stress easier. So like in it, for example, you have a business. You're like, I can't deal with this moment right now. Maybe I should go get a job. And I use this example a lot because my mind has been there multiple times, dude. Multiple times my mind has been like, man, maybe I should just go be an iron worker because my father-in-law is a retired fucking veteran iron worker, dude. Dude, if there was a Hall of Fame iron working, he would in it. Like all he's got to do is call a couple of his nephew is the BA of all local 433, dude. Like, dude, like runs everything, bro. All it would be a phone call. But see, the way my brain looks at it like that is like, well, then some other man's providing my way for me. I said that I was going to do something. I initiated the plan A. So any other plan after plan A is plan B. Even if it's a good plan, it's still plan B. I'm like that too. I don't live off that plan B shit. I'm the type that's like the only way you're going to take the island is burn the boats. When you have no option of retreat, it builds a mental muscle in your fucking process that starts teaching you how to get past those points. And if you don't learn that, you will never get past those points. You will never get past those points. I bet you any billionaire would agree with that, homie. There are literally those mental walls, those mental ceilings where you're either going to break or break through. You know what I'm saying? And if you're not breaking through, then you're breaking. Okay. And there's only two options. You don't just sit at the ceiling like this for the rest of your life. You know what I'm saying? Like you either
Yeah, dude,
stay stuck on that level.
I had to risk it a couple times. Like my last one. Well, I probably do it all the time, but one of the big ones was I did a big old batch of baits, and like none of them basically like sold type thing. And I spent probably, I don't know, a ton of money on material and all kinds of shit. And it took way too long to produce them, and all kinds of stuff
Hey, bro.
happened.
Hey, bro. Hey, bro. Hey, I'm just honest question. I want to ask you an honest question.
Uh,
What's the most that you think you've ever put out for something like that?
what do you mean, like put out? Like,
Like for your baits, what's the most you think you've lost on your baits before?
mm, Well, like technically, like nothing.
So I that's what I'm not trying to compare it like you said to me, but
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
I've lost out on like 10 grand a few times trying to do shit like this,
Oh,
homie. Like,
well, if I looked at it like that, yeah, I'd say like I lost like
no,
five
so that's
thousand.
what I mean. That's what I mean. I'm
Yeah,
not trying to compare
yeah,
it.
yeah,
That's what
yeah,
I'm saying. Like,
yeah.
we understand that if
Uh,
you're not willing to do that
uh,
on a consistent basis,
yeah,
so like even if you keep crapping out, you just keep rolling with the thought. One of these days it's gonna be that 7, homie. And that's
yeah.
gonna be my turn. It's gonna be my
Well,
turn.
here's the thing with that is like with doing that, doesn't that make you feel crazy in a sense because like you keep doing
Well, okay,
something and then like
so yes, you're right. You have to be crazy a little bit, bro. You
yeah,
have to. Look, any man that pursues entrepreneurship has to be a little bit off.
right,
I pride myself on being a little off. Actually, I'm a whole lot of off, dude. My wife will tell you, like, my husband is a fucking freak. This fool never fucking stops. All right. But what I'm saying is you have to be like that because the logic way of thinking, the safe, normal way of thinking is to get a job, get retirement, grow old, and die. That's the cliche of what most people teach about life. Entrepreneurship is a fuck art, homie. It's an art. There's no guarantee that you're gonna get it. It's a pursuit of life, man. You know what I'm saying? It's a lifestyle. It's almost like a musician. That's the best way I can compare it to, like a famous
like
musician.
an
If you know how most
artist.
musicians start off, they're like
Um,
playing the guitar, somebody's putting change in their bucket.
Dude, I
You
see
know,
people
one
doing that at the grocery store.
hey dog, and then one day one of them get picked up because the right person hears them singing. You know what I'm saying? It's just what I'm saying is that person just kept rolling, kept rolling, kept rolling. They sat out there every night just thinking to themselves, like, why am I still here playing this shit? I ain't making no money. I ain't living a good life. You, for one, whatever you choose to chase, you better make sure you love it. And that's what you want to do. Because the first I heard Ice Cube say one time in entrepreneurship, the first 5 years, if you're not willing to not make a dime, don't even try it, bro. Don't even try it. Because in all reality, like I said at the beginning of this, when I first started my business, I probably gave 3 yards away before I got my first referral to get paid.
Mm,
So after my first yard, I was like, oh yeah, hopefully I'll get some customers. And I was like, damn, I didn't get none. And then I was like, I'm going to hit another yard like that. I'm just going to keep faith. I'm just going to keep plowing away. The same idea. And I hit another one. And I was like,
yeah.
damn, I didn't get no more customers after that. I didn't get none. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to hit another one. Bam. And then that one kind of generated a few customers that generated the right one. And then it just started snowballing, bro. Snowballing, bro. Like
So
my
for
brothers
me,
tell me all the time, bro, how are you getting all these customers? I'm like, dude, it's people know my work now. They know my work. Yeah, dude.
it's kind of more like the craft, the process. Like I just really enjoy a lot of those factors. You know, like especially like the craft itself. Because I've been just making stuff like forever, and so I don't really care what it is, as long as I'm making something, kind of deal. You know, like
Okay, so here's my question for you then. Here's my question for you then. If that's your joy and that craft is what you truly like to do, even if you've put a bunch of money into doing it, why would you not stay doing it? So what I mean by that is like even if you had a few different style rats, at all times, if you're a real creator, this is just me speaking, and I'm not
yeah, yeah,
knocking what you said, bro. I'm just this is how I think of it. Like You would be perfecting your thing till even if nobody bought, man, you might even be giving away lures just so motherfuckers know your shit, like you've done for me.
Well, yeah, too. So I'm giving, like you were saying, giving away like the first three ones. You know, like, I did something like that too, and then a ton
But
of
hey,
business where we give away all kinds of.
don't ever think that won't come back to you, bro. It will. It just doesn't ever give us a day. No, I know, and I don't mean come back to you as far as like,
Well,
hey,
see, my
this
big thing
person.
is
I
like
mean, like,
I never expect a whole lot too from that type of stuff. You know.
and that attitude gets paid in a good way, in a positive way, homie. You know, it's just gonna take a lot of grind, man. It's gonna be a lot of grind before you see anything come out, man. And I know you can do it, bro. I know you can do it. Like I said, I fished your baits, bro. I know not very many people have enough to really just get into it like that. I tried doing it. I can't do it. I enjoy your baits. Every time I fish your baits, I catch fish. And I'm gonna tell you like this: I don't like using shit and trash. I don't like throwing trash, bro. I won't throw trash ass shit. So, like, even if it's gonna take more tuning and fine tuning, and you that's what I'm saying. You start putting a team together that helps you build your dream, homie. I don't mind helping you build your dream. Just like if I knew you were by me and I was like, hey, bro, you want to go to work? You'd be helping me.
Oh
We
yeah.
help each other. We help each other. You know what I'm saying? So like that's the thing, bro. It's like we can always help each other, but as you as the creator, when you truly love it, that shit don't stop, man. You're looking at every moment to fine tune.
Well, the only thing
Fucking,
is, the only thing is
we're
really,
gonna get on here, huh?
it only stopped like really like financial reasons. Like other than that, it like wouldn't have like slowed down at all.
No, I know, but you said you got 50 rats over there, right? The other night you said I got like 50 rats sitting around, huh? That's what you told me.
Yeah.
So what I mean is like I would be going through most of those and making sure that mostly all of them are swimming the same. Maybe you might want to change something, or 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 like this, just for thought, just for thought. Even though I know that you have like a set price in your mind on like how you want to sell your baits and stuff, maybe you should try doing some auctions at first, some like lower ball end auctions, so that you're not making out on nothing and you're still getting your shit out there
Yeah.
to where people are like, man, I caught a fish on that seas rat on that auction where he was selling rats the other day. I need another one, homie. And then you just start upgrading different ideas and creativeness like that. It don't even have to be creativity and just your lures. It
I
could
was gonna
always be
do one.
creativity. Huh?
I was gonna do a giveaway on the Facebook Reels. Cause remember I was doing we were doing the Reels and stuff. Remember? And then I don't know. My thing just slowed down. Hella. What happened was they didn't let me post for like a month. Like they like locked up my posting. And so then
Yeah.
I was like, fuck it, whatever. Like, and
Bro,
then
you know what I think would be stupid fun, bro? There's a page that I follow on TikTok, and this guy has this fucking, it looks like a grocery, the thing you put your groceries on and they move
yeah,
it to the front,
yeah.
but it flings. It's like a treadmill almost.
Like a,
And he has pool balls, and he has pool balls that he puts on there and they race each other. And this fool will put cups down and it'll hit the balls and it'll knock them off slowly one by one. What I mean by creative ways of promotion is let's say like this. Let's just say like this. Let's say let's say you run 5 races. And how many pool balls are in a pool? What is it like? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's
14.
yeah. It's like 14 and the cue ball, so like 15, right?
Yeah,
Because he runs the cue ball too, right?
yeah.
Well, let's just say you did something like this. I know you ain't got no treadmill or nothing, but this is what I mean by creative promotions. You have baits that you're trying to get rid of, right?
Uh,
So let's say you do it like this. You run 5 races a night, and everybody can buy in on a ball, and you assign them to a ball. The first pickers that come first, They get to pick what ball. Every ball that's left after, you get fucking whatever's left after. You pay for that ball. Now, 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 now. You would run races, and then whatever one was last place would either advance to the next round, or you would give away a rat on that win, or something like that. Because if you think about it, the winner is going to get the rat, but every person that buys in on each one of those balls is going to pay for a rat. You know what I'm saying? Pretty much. You'll get something off of it. So let's just say 14 times 5, what's that, 20, $70. You get $70 if you put each ticket for $5 a ball. You run 5 races a night and each one gets a rat. You make your money off your rats, and everybody got a fun, fair way of actually trying to win a rat that's different. You could link up with cats like that on this social media, and I'm sure they would run races for you. I know they would, bro. I know they would. I'm just saying things like that will get people into being like, hey, bro, I'm going to go over to this live tonight because they're doing races for rats. Bro, you win it, you win it. If you don't, you don't. Dude, that's so much better than just the traditional giveaway. And that's just one thing you could do. There's so much other shit out there that you could do. You could do darts and balloons on a fucking homie, put people's names in it, and whatever dart hits the balloon out, the last person standing gets a rat. Dude, you could do all kinds of shit, bro. And people like that shit. I just noticed that pages like that are always full of people, full of followers, and they're always spending money because they like the pages. You know what I'm saying? And you just you can get rid of your things like that, dude. I just think like if it's the straight up promotional way that you're trying to do it, maybe we gotta switch up a tactic. Maybe try something else. You know what I'm saying? I seen this one bait guy that just buys lures and he raffles them off, but
Yeah, yeah.
he does like
That's how
roulette. Oh,
that's how I raffles type stuff, and I would pay like
well, yeah. I mean, think
15
about it. Like
bucks.
how much shit you got into just and you got those baits. You know what I'm saying? Like it just makes it fun for people,
Yeah,
man. And people are
I would
more
pay
interested
like
in.
60. But we're talking like $200 baits, like you could win it for like 60 bucks. But then and then they would do a thing where it's like 16 or 20 people, so like and then stuff like that. But um,
I think even if you're not making out fully on what you want, you're still getting it out there and you're still pretty much making most to what you want. To me, that's a start. That's a start. You know what I'm saying? Then you can figure out ways to get it all the way up to the full potential. But sitting on zero compared to even 60% of something coming in is not as good. You know what I'm saying? You just got to try to figure out ways to like when I started doing my yards and I really started getting into it and people were telling me I was good and people were telling me like I should charge this, I should charge that, and there was a few times I had to take a few cuts, man, and I'm glad I did because those cuts produced bigger sales for me. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes it's a give and take in the energy, man, in the world in the world, that's just kind of how it asks for it. You got what you give out to it is what you get back. When I go to people's yards, I give them 110% and I go over more than what I always said I would. And you know what? That's why I tell you these things because I know you're like that too, bro. When you send me those lures and shit already for free, you fuck the packs and everything. New rings, new hooks, fuck. Like you're all about customer service. You have all that with you. We're just looking for that to plug in with you that's got people coming to your shit. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, or just like I'm trying to focus, get back started, get my stuff back together, and then start doing my
Well, see,
little
even like that, bro, like even if you're working, bro, like work and then just do a little bit of your dream 100. You know what I mean?
yeah. Well, the problem, like I was saying, the problem is like I ended up in this jam to where like it was like stuck. Like, oh, you're stopping now, kind of deal. Like, but Nah, dude, it'll be back. Like I still have tons of stuff, dude. Like I'm working on those small fish, and then like eventually, dude, I'm just gonna make new molds of it, different stuff, and then like I was saying, I'm gonna
Oh,
slime.
throw them all in your backpack. Throw them all in your backpack. Go down to the lakes and just start slinging them off like they used to in bags, homie.
And then smaller batches. And then too, I don't know why, for some reason, I never filmed like me making baits. Like only like one time, like that was it. And then
Yeah, see, that's another popular thing on social media is just people making the baits, man.
yeah, well, there's all kinds of stuff
And
I
you
could
know, and
talk
that's the
about.
that's the thing, but that's why you get a lot of followers because people want to see your style of doing it. You know what I'm saying? So they just add it to their style.
Yeah, or like the comment, like even postings changed a lot. Like people want to know, like they want your post like detailed and stuff, and like it used to kind of not be like that when Instagram first started. Like you used to be able to post like anything and everything kind of deal, and it's like post randomly or whatever. And now it's not like that, you know. And so I'm adjusting too to like the times and this and that. The algorithm's always changing. But the stuff too, like you said, like the TikTok stuff. Um, I know a person who's doing that with like the what was it, football cards, and then they ended up doing a thing on TikTok where like they're banning people that are doing like raffles type thing and stuff. And then Instagram too is even kind of shadow banning people that are advertising their own business kind of thing. So it's like this weird kind of you have to. That's why you have to make like certain content that's like way more catchy type thing or whatever. But
Yeah, yeah, you do. Yeah, I mean, there ain't no lie there, man. It's got to be down to the T, man. And people want to see that shit look good nowadays. You can't just put some random shit up, man. Like me, I really don't. I just put what I put, dude. Like if people like it or not, I don't even really care. But I know when you're trying to do a certain type of business or something, it's got to be like that.
hmm yeah, or two, just like I was trying to do too much at once kind of thing. Like making baits, testing baits, and trying to film the whole process kind of thing.
Yeah.
But
Well, that's what I'm saying, but you gotta get you a team together. Get you a couple guys that you know can catch fish on your baits. Use that as your guys for testers. So while you're in the fucking kitchen developing the baits, you got your testers out there testing them for you, telling you what they think about them, what they should change, what they shouldn't, if it's good. And then you got somebody that's out there helping you promote that shit. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Hey, you can't do it all, man. And if you do, you burn out, man. You got to find people that believe in it like you, man, and just put them guys in charge and let them help you try to get there, man.
hmm
I mean, that's the thing. That's what I'm saying, bro. That's what I've learned, man, off this business, dude. Man, you try to do it like by yourself, man. You burn out fast, dude. Like my wife, dude. She's like my secretary, homie. She does all my dude.
hmm
Like if I had to do all the bids and the scheduling and fucking doing the yard work itself and the follow-ups and all that other shit myself, like it'd be a lot, man. So my wife, she does a lot of my scheduling, she does a lot of the phone calls, she does a lot of the pictures, she sends me pictures or addresses, like she does a lot of the behind the scene work. I do a lot of the on the scene work, you know what I mean? So I mean, it just works like that. And then I got another homie that just helps me pick up the slack. So like when I'm at work and I'm doing what I'm doing, he's just following behind me, helping me get everything cleaned up and shit. You know what I mean?
hmm
And that's how we operate, man. We get down, dude. Like this year, we're pushing for a new level, man. I'm hoping by the end of this year I can make a few changes. I'm hoping to go down to Mississippi, man. If I go down there, I'm gonna be taking over another business, and we're gonna be remodeling homes and shit like that. And I'm gonna have my fam help me invest in a couple ride lawnmowers. We're gonna start doing our thing down there.